Okay, today is officially the 30th day I've spent in Kenya. So I've spent 1 month in this country, and all I can say is TMI, too much information. So I came here for a 6-month job, so I still have 5 months left here. I think this country is very, very broken, and I think spending 1 month here has destroyed a lot of my previous beliefs. So I got encouraged to talk about this because I just came back from a safari trip. And safari, Kenya is like the classic Kenya tourist thing. But then even in the safari, I just got so infuriated by the things I saw, to the extent that I started posting on Instagram finally. Because for the past month, I've been trying to show the positive side of my Kenya trip because, my friends are worried about me, my family is worried about me. And to be honest, the nature, the animals, the wildlife in Kenya is great, okay? It's just I have been holding off a lot of the dark side that I saw because of my job in Kenya. So when we were on the safari trip, the guide asked us if we want to add $20 so that we can have a Masai village visit. I was kind of curious because I don't know much about it, and it seems like that's what some tourists do, and I was genuinely curious. And my friend stopped me and told me how they are really a sexist culture. The men don't do much, or the man protects the land, but protects the land from whom in this modern society in 2024? But the woman does all the chores, all the housework. So I didn't go. But then this safari car has a group of 7, and 6 of us didn't go. Only there was one lady who went, and it was an old Swedish lady who came here for a 1-week business trip to promote women's education and recycling program in Kenya. Okay, for those of you who don't know, Kenya do not recycle. Okay, they don't have the infrastructure to set up a recycle industry. That just does not exist. It doesn't make sense when people are starving to force them into recycling. Makes no sense. And the women's education part, I 100% agree, is important. So that's why I don't understand why that Swedish woman would want to pay $20 to support this culture. Okay, sorry, back from a meeting. Yes, I do work here. So my point is, this little episode of among the 7 of us on the safari car, only one person went on to see Masai village, and this woman turned out to be a Swedish lady on a business trip here, telling us that she's here to promote the recycling program and women's education. Made me start to think a lot of things that I observed in Kenya that made me really uncomfortable, and it's mostly related to race and also skin color and the UN. I'm gonna make a really bold statement here. I think the UN is a deeply racist organization in and of itself. But why am I saying that is gonna be explained later. But anyhow, I just wanted to use my Instagram story to help me facilitate this narrative. So first, I was looking up information online to make sure that my friends are not lying to me. And then I saw this article saying, typically, Maasai girls are circumcised between the age of 11 to 13, and soon afterwards married to a man chosen by her father in exchange for cattle and cash. A Maasai woman will never be allowed to divorce except in the most egregious cases of physical abuse, and will never be allowed to marry again, even if the husband her father chooses is an old man who dies when she's still in her teens. Instead, she becomes the property of one of her husband's brothers. She will be one of the multiple wives and will have many children, regardless of her health or ability to provide for them. She will rise early every day to milk cows and spend her days walking miles to water holes to launder clothes and get water, and to gather heavy loads of firewood to carry back home. If she's lucky, she will have a donkey to share her burden. She will live a life of few physical comforts, dependent on a husband and a family she did not choose. Her life expectancy is 45 years. This does not sound like a life I want to live. And then my comment was, I was just glad me and my friend didn't pay $20 for the Masai village visit to support this type of sexist culture. But now I learned they also poach wildlife animals. Yes, one of the lions we saw was fatally stabbed by the Masai people a few days ago. But now I learned they also poach wildlife animals just to prove themselves a man. They actually actively hunt lions and casually kill hyenas and leopards who are critically endangered right now. In my trip, we didn't see any leopard in our visit in Masai Mara. And of course, the government cannot do anything about them. And also, in our car, some white lady from Sweden who was on a business trip to promote women's education in Kenya, quote her, was the only one who paid $20 to see this exotic Masai culture in our entire group of 7. Fantastic. I wonder how much of this $20 will go into any Masai woman's hands. And I also wanted to point out that our driver for the safari trip was very cold to us. Might be exaggeration to say he's rude to us, but he's very cold to us. But in contrast, he was extremely nice to the Swedish white lady, which was completely reasonable because he knows she would tip, was indeed the one who tipped the most. And then for the next Instagram story, I said, never thought I would say this, but hypocrisy of the white leftists could be a real thing. You came to Kenya and living in a hotel that costs more than 3-digit USD per night for a week. Kenya's average monthly income in 2022 is $123.82. What kind of women's education and what kind of recycling program can you promote within this 1 week? Same for all UN people and World Bank people. The UN Africa headquarters was established in Nairobi in 1996. 28 years have passed, and what have they done? I thought software engineers in the Bay is the best job in the world until I met those folks from UN, World Bank, and other NGOs. Sorry for all my software engineer friends from the Bay. Anyhow, and then this story prompted another reply from my other friend who told me that she was in the Bangladesh refugee center and had a similar experience. The UN people live in 5-star hotels and they have helicopters to pick them up. And then when COVID came, they ran the fastest. They left, they were the first batch of people to leave. And I told her, yes, a lot of Europeans whose country have bad economy and cannot give them high-paying jobs can just get a UN or NGO job in Kenya very easily because of their white skin. They can get American salary and housing benefits and a bunch of other benefits. And their salary here is already insanely high compared to local salary. They work 4 hours per week because there's nothing much for them to do anyway. And you know how much bureaucracy goes on in those organizations. And they get paid in US dollar and they spend in Kenyan shilling. They're so happy, they party every day. In my building, I can hear 2 to 3 parties every day from the neighbors. Just to provide some context why I'm shitting on those UN people so hard. I feel like a lot of white people, they came here with white guilt and they think that they need to pay so much money to compensate for their white guilt. Do you think tipping $20 here and there, left and right, is a way to solve your problems? I think it probably makes you feel better. So this is the reason why I'm making this video. I don't want to just be another person telling you how beautiful Kenya is, how wonderful the life here is, the cute animals, cute wildlife. That's not me. I came here to observe and I saw a lot of ugly things. Here's what I wrote. I said, you do not unsee how corrupt and greedy the government is. You do not unsee how dysfunctional the whole system is. You do not unsee how the most brutal version of capitalism here. You do not unsee the hypocrisy of the UN and its people and what it represents. You simply cannot unsee the truth. So this is a pretty emotional video. And I've thought about whether I should show my real face here. I've thought about whether I should be making this video from the beginning, but I decided to make it anyway because this is the truth I have seen over the past 30 days I spent here. And this is my version of the truth, and I have decided to vocalize it.
Hello, buffaloes!